History remembers the Silver Bridge. The people of Point Pleasant remember what happened before it collapsed. For 13 months, an entire town claimed something was watching them. Gravediggers, teenagers, families, even police officers. All described the same impossible creature. A towering figure, massive wings, eyes that glowed bright red in the darkness. What they witnessed would give birth to one of America's greatest mysteries. Tonight, we examine the encounters that made the legend of the Mothman long before documentaries, books, and internet debates. Point Pleasant, West Virginia was just another quiet river town, nestled where the Ohio and Kanawha rivers meet. Life moved at a slower pace. Neighbors knew each other. Children played outside until dark, and most evenings ended in silence. That silence was broken in November of 1966. Over the next 13 months, dozens of people would report seeing the same impossible creature. Their descriptions remained remarkably consistent. A figure standing nearly 7 feet tall, broad shoulders, massive folded wings, and 2 brilliant red eyes that seemed to glow even in complete darkness. Some believed it was an unknown animal. Others believed it was something supernatural. Nearly 60 years later, no one can say for certain what the people of Point Pleasant encountered, but the reports all began with 2 men working in a cemetery. Encounter 1. The Gravediggers of Clendenin. It was November 12th, 1966. The sun had already disappeared behind the hills surrounding Clendenin, West Virginia. 2 gravediggers continued working as evening settled over the cemetery. It wasn't unusual. They wanted to finish before the ground became too difficult to see. The only sounds were their shovels cutting into the earth and the occasional wind moving through the trees. Then, one of the men looked up. Something moved above them. At first, he assumed it was a large bird, but as it crossed overhead, he immediately realized it was unlike anything he had ever seen. The witness later described a massive gray figure lifting from the nearby trees. Its wings stretched wide as it silently passed above the cemetery. Neither man could explain what they were seeing. There was no flapping, no cries, only silence. The creature glided over the graves, disappearing into the darkness beyond the hillside. The 2 men stood frozen. Neither spoke for several moments. Eventually, one quietly asked, "What was that?" Neither had an answer. The encounter quickly spread among family members and friends. Most dismissed it. Some suggested it had simply been a large owl. Others laughed, assuming exhaustion had played tricks on the men's eyes. The gravediggers themselves never claimed to know what they had witnessed, only that it was unlike any bird they had ever seen. Had the story ended there, it likely would have become another forgotten local legend. Instead, 3 days later, the entire town would begin paying attention. The date was November 15th, 1966. Only 3 days had passed since the gravediggers reported the strange winged figure near Clendenin. Few people connected the 2 events. At the time, there was no reason to. That night, Roger Scarberry, Steve Mallett, and their wives, Linda Scarberry and Mary Mallett, decided to go for a drive. Like many local teenagers, they found themselves near the abandoned TNT Area just outside Point Pleasant. The former World War II munitions site had become a popular place for young people to gather after dark. It was quiet, remote, and surrounded by thick woods. As they drove past one of the abandoned buildings, Roger suddenly slowed the car. Standing beside the old concrete structure was something none of them could explain. Mary later described it as a large gray figure, nearly 7 feet tall. Its body appeared human, but much larger than any person. Folded against its back were enormous wings. Then, it turned toward the car. 2 brilliant red eyes reflected in the headlights, not glowing like flashlights, but shining with an intensity none of them had ever seen before. No one spoke. For several seconds, they simply stared. Then the creature moved. It unfolded its wings, not with frantic motion, but slowly, deliberately. Roger slammed the car into gear. The tires spun against the gravel as they sped away from the old building. No one looked back at first. Fear had already taken over. Then Steve turned toward the rear window. It's following us. Roger pressed harder on the accelerator. The speedometer climbed. 60 miles per hour. 70. 80. The road stretched ahead through the darkness. Steve looked back again. The creature was still there. Its wings remained spread, yet it wasn't flapping. It appeared to glide effortlessly above the road, matching the car's speed. Roger pushed the accelerator even farther, 90 miles per hour. The witness later claimed they approached 100 miles per hour. Still, the creature remained behind them, never falling back, never closing the distance, simply following for what felt like forever. Then, without warning, it climbed sharply into the night sky. The red eyes disappeared. The creature was gone. None of them spoke for several moments. Eventually, they drove directly to the Point Pleasant Sheriff's Office. Sheriff George Johnson listened carefully as the group described what had happened. At first, he suspected they had seen an unusually large bird, perhaps a heron, perhaps a crane. But one detail stayed with him. All 4 witnesses described the creature almost identically. Their fear was genuine. The sheriff later admitted he had never seen them so terrified. The story spread quickly. By morning, nearly everyone in Point Pleasant had heard about the strange creature near the TNT area. Some laughed. Others stayed away from the abandoned buildings altogether. Many assumed the excitement would disappear within a few days. Instead, the sightings only increased. People driving the back roads reported seeing glowing red eyes watching from nearby fields. Others claimed something enormous crossed silently above their vehicles. Then, only days after the Scarberry encounter, the creature appeared again. This time, it came far closer than anyone expected. It was November 16th, 1966. Just one day after the famous Scarberry encounter, Marcella Bennett had driven to visit friends near the TNT area with several family members, including her young daughter. The evening had been uneventful. As they pulled into the driveway, Marcella stepped from the car carrying her child. Then, something moved. Standing near the edge of the property, partially hidden by the darkness, was a massive gray figure. She later described it as being nearly 7 feet tall. Its body appeared almost human. Its broad wings remained folded against its back, but it was the eyes she never forgot. 2 brilliant red circles, reflecting through the darkness. The creature never charged. It never screamed. It simply watched. Marcella froze. For a brief moment, neither she nor the creature moved. Then, fear took over. Holding her daughter tightly, she ran toward the house. Family members later recalled the panic in her voice as she burst through the door. The group quickly secured the house, Looking through the windows, they could still see the figure outside, watching, waiting. Eventually, it disappeared into the darkness. Marcella later admitted the encounter terrified her so deeply that she struggled to talk about it for years. By now, the sightings were no longer isolated. Reports flooded into local newspapers. More witnesses came forward. Some described seeing the creature perched on rooftops. Others reported it flying silently above their cars. Police received calls. Families stopped going out after dark. What had begun with 2 gravediggers had become something an entire community was experiencing. Whether every report described the same creature, no one could say. But one detail remained remarkably consistent. The eyes, bright red, watching from the darkness. For more than a year, the sightings continued. Then, on December 15th, 1967, during the evening rush hour, the Silver Bridge connecting Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and Gallipolis, Ohio, suddenly collapsed into the icy Ohio River. 46 people lost their lives. The disaster shocked the nation. In the days that followed, many residents couldn't ignore the timing. Some believed the strange sightings had been a warning. Others argued the 2 events were nothing more than tragic coincidence. No evidence has ever proven a connection. But from that day forward, the legend of the Mothman and the tragedy of the Silver Bridge would forever become intertwined. The Mothman has never been captured, never identified, and despite decades of investigation, never fully explained. Skeptics have suggested unusually large birds, misidentified sandhill cranes, or fear spreading through a close-knit community. Others believe something far stranger visited Point Pleasant during those 13 months. Whatever the truth may be, the witnesses believed what they saw. Their stories have remained remarkably consistent for nearly 60 years. Perhaps that is why the legend still survives today. Not because anyone proved the Mothman existed, but because an entire town experienced something they could never explain. And nearly 60 years later, people are still asking the same question. What was watching Point Pleasant? The world is full of stories. Some become legends, others become warnings. Whether you believe tonight's encounters or not, someone lived through them, and they were changed forever. If you've experienced something you can't explain, share your story in the comments below. Your encounter may be featured in a future investigation. Until next time, stay curious, stay alert, and remember, some things are better left beyond the UmbraVeil.